morning, Linux lovers. Hello, how are you? My name's Wimpy. Welcome to my world. Right, we're doing this again. So I'm better prepared today. I'm going to post a message by just pressing return like that, and then I'll do another one over here like that. Oh, yeah, I spelled those right as everything. Okay, let's bring that up. So I'm better prepared today, better prepared than ever, because I have not one, but 2 mugs of tea. So I ran out of tea yesterday. That just won't do. Oh gosh, that's good. All the better for being on those Stormtrooper coasters that I got yesterday. Very happy with those. They are my new most favourite thing, except for that AMD 6900 XT, which I also quite like. So I think it might take a while for people to appear here. I'm going to need to pop out the chat so that I can see what's going on. So I'll just do that. I could have been better prepared, it turns out, but such is life. There it is. Right, stick you always on top. There we go. Right then. If I put that there, I should be able to see everything. In fact, I'll put that there. There we go. Right, okay. So what am I going to do today? I'm going to do a couple of things. Last night, I don't know if any one that's able to watch these ones in the morning saw last night's stream, finished updating Mate Desktop 126 for Debian and ubuntu-mate. So I thought I'd better check how those builds ran overnight and do a bit of testing. So I'm going to run up a couple of VMs quickly, very quickly run that stuff around a quick smoke test. And I saw feedback from the QA team that ubuntu-mate 20.04.3 is looking like it's shipshape and in good order. So we'll probably mark that as ready and get that work done. I see there's a few people watching. If you're in the chat, do say hello, just wave a hand. I like to see, who's returning, who's new. It's always good to get to know people. Hello there. You were here last night, I remember. And in fact, I've already noticed that I've got a slight problem with my overlays there. So I'm going to fix that very quickly. We'll just do that live, because that was an oversight. That's meant to be lined up just about there. There we go. Let's do that. That should be better. Or something. There we go. And hey, Takeoff, good morning again. It's a nice day today. Yes, very good. I'm very pleased with my decision to have 2 cups of tea this morning. I think this was wise. And Matty, I'm going to go with Matty. I'm not quite sure how I'm supposed to pronounce the bit on the end there. Seeing you talking instead of listening to your podcast. Is this your first time in a live stream? Is this the first time you see my fat face as well? Hello, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Right then, let's do this thing. So we'll pop down here. And we'll bring a terminal down. I think we'll probably get started with a terminal, because what we'll do is we'll need a browser as well. So maybe I'll just bring a browser window down here too. This is where we hope that Google Chrome has this one's authenticated with all the things I need to use. Let's try. Oh, I am disappointed. Okay. In fact, do I care? Do I need to be authenticated to do this? Probably not. Let's just go to where I need to be. Let's go there. Okay, and we'll pull this one out and down here. So this is a Chrome window in Launchpad, and we'll use we'll use this to check the PPA out. So I did a couple of things yesterday. I uploaded to the archive and I uploaded to a PPA, this one, Play Park. So if we check that and then say for Impish, which is the upcoming release. Hello again, Jeff. Thanks for stopping by. Has anyone else got teas, coffees or other beverages? What are you drinking? I'm looking for hot tips. We try Earl Grey and berry tea were suggested yesterday, neither of which I'm a fan of. So, and also I don't drink coffee anymore, so I'm being awkward. So what's good about this is because I uploaded to a PPA for Impish, we can now see new version available for all of these, which means that a new version was indeed uploaded to the Ubuntu archive. So let's just pick the calculator as an example. There it is, and if we go to oh, this was not what I wanted to see, this page, is it? I want the without the version because I want to see which pocket it made into, and it's currently sitting in proposed. There we go. So that's not ideal, but it's good enough. But it does mean, I think it's built. If we look here, we should see that we've got there we go, a bunch of packages for the different architectures. Oh, even RISC and mainframes. Go us. Right, so that's fine, but then the one I'm interested in more today is I also uploaded for Hirsute, which is the 2104 release. Jeff is having some yerba mate. I tell you what, Jeff, that is the advanced class. That's pretty impressive. Did you? Where are you in the world? Are you in Europe? Where did you buy it? Because I struggle to get it. Oh, hello. Why has this got something with build failure next to it? Let me just double check that something isn't built. Mate Control Center by the looks of it. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. These ones are still in the queue. Oh, that should be fine. I'm not going to be testing on ARM today. Oh, I see. That's waiting for the settings daemon to complete, which will have built now. Okay, that's fine. Those two had a dependency loop, so the Mate settings daemon is built. So those will re-trigger automatically, at some points. That's fine. So that's what I'm going to start by testing. So we'll just go back to the terminal. I don't know if people are familiar with this, but I made a little project last year called QuickEmu, which was really designed for the ubuntu-mate QA team to make it easier to bring up VMs and test stuff. And I'm going to be using that to test this. So, so Matty's just winding down. Bacardi, very nice. I'm a fan of Cuba Libre. So you're in the Netherlands, Jeff. Okay, and you bought it locally. Okay, wonderful. I used to live in Utrecht with my wife for a little while, a long time ago now. Right then. So QuickEmu is pretty simple. You just it has a config file. You'll find this on GitHub. In my Wimpy's World GitHub. So super simple config file. Let's look at the Hirsute config file because that's the one we're going to be testing now. So we're going to use legacy boot. We're telling it it's Linux. It supports Windows and Mac OS as well. Path to the install ISO and a path to where you want the disk created, how big you want the disk to be, and everything else, number of cores, resolution, RAM, all the other things, it figures out automatically. You can override it, but the idea is it's the minimum amount of configuration. And if you want to, you can do TCP and port forwarding, and it'll automatically bind the Samba to the home directory and open up SSH into the guest and stuff like that for you. So we'll run QuickMU. We're going to be running the Hirsute version. I may have an existing install, so we'll just trash that. There it goes. And now we'll run this, and it should boot the ISO or not. It couldn't find the ISO because why? Ah, I know why. Because this is a release now, not a daily. So we'll just go back and change that config file. In fact, the other thing we'll do is just make these fonts a bit bigger in the terminal. So we'll just change the name of the install ISO so that it's correct. There we go. There we are. Right, let's boot that. Here we go. So I'll have to bring that down onto the right screen. So here we go. So we'll just give that a boot, and we'll do the quickest way to install it as possible. Oh, come on, brain. There we go. So it automatically determines the resolution of the VM based on resolutions of attached monitors, and then makes it a little bit smaller so that it will fit. We'll just go straight for an install because this is obviously a release version, and what we want to do is test the PPA. We won't do the downloads because that will slow things up a little bit. So we'll just let that whir. Shouldn't take too long. Oh, come on. I can hear the fans kicking up on something. Wonder why. Shouldn't be working too hard for this. Right then, go, go, go. I am Martin. This is going to be ubuntu-mate. My password is test. There we go. Right, let's let that roll. Right, I'm nearly finishing my first cup of tea here. So the other thing I was thinking of taking a little look at, depending how long this takes, is I'm recording these streams locally as well as streaming them. And I was thinking, well, what if I want to like archive them, so which I can do on YouTube, so I can upload them there, which is fine. And YouTube will take what I record, which is multi-channel audio, and it's an MKV file, and YouTube just works with it. And then I thought, you can upload things to Twitch as highlights, and then they like persist. So maybe I could archive things on Twitch as well. But Twitch doesn't like the MKVs. So I thought I'd write a little FFmpeg script to basically remux what I record as the video, the stream audio, and remux that into an MP4 for uploading to Twitch. Maybe even no, I won't transcode because it's high quality local recording. So thought I'd do that, which should be doable. So I might have a look at that. Anyway, let's go back and see how our install's getting on. Not far now. Yeah, it just simply refuses to accept MKV, which is infuriating because MKV is about the best AV container format going. You know, it does everything. And not accept that seems crazy to me. It's the only one that really preserves timestamping really well. Noticed it's quite bright in here this morning. Well, there we go. Right, let's finish this cup. Move it over. I've got some more objet d'art here you might be interested in. This is purely to wind up my friend Alan, who might be popping over here at some point. So, oops, that's the wrong one. There we go. So this is my overhead view. I've got these, which I think are brilliant. So you may have seen pictures of these on their internet. They're Bitcoin coins, physical coins. So gold, silver, and bronze. So yeah, thought as Alan's such a big fan of, as he calls it, crypto nonsense, I thought I'd leave these, you know, liberally scattered around, scattered around when he comes and visits. I'm sure he'll love that. Come on, install. Go faster. Nearly done, it says. Right. Okay, that's the new. So interestingly, here's a little tip for those of you that are in here. This kernel version in Hirsute. In the upstream kernel, somebody submitted patches to properly fix the Camlink 4K. The Camlink 4K is a USB HDMI capture device, so you can plug your cameras and stuff into it, and they're pretty decent. They used to be hella expensive, but at the moment, or released a couple of weeks ago on Amazon, they were 80 quid, which I thought was quite a good deal. So I bought one for using here, and that's what's driving the camera. And I'd never had any of the Elgato capture devices before, but I learned that the Linux support was, well, it wasn't the Linux support, but there's a bug in the Camlink 4K firmware in the way that it presents the color spaces. Anyway, a patch has been added to the kernel, which adds a quirks mode for the Camlink to work around that issue and correctly shift the color space information. And that patch has now been landed in all the kernels in the Ubuntu family. So you used to have to do funky stuff to make all of that work, but as of about a week ago, it all works without issue. So the Camlink 4Ks can now be wholeheartedly recommended for Linux users. And I don't know why they're so cheap on Amazon, but they were like twice that price or more originally, and they're way down now, which I think is actually a fair price considering what they do. Right, so here we go. We've got our base system up and running. Let's let's first of all let's just switch the theme to dark. That may be a little bit more visible. We'll do an update in the VM. Oh, the password is test, isn't it? So here we go. Let's see what updates we get. Right, good. Oh, that's going to take longer than I thought. Right, upgrade that lot then. How long is this going to take? 100 megabytes. Streaming and updating a system over Wi-Fi. What could possibly go wrong? I'm beginning to doubt this. Whilst that's doing, we'll just shift back to this view. I really do need to set up my Stream Deck at some point. Incidentally, the Stream Deck GUI for Linux is much improved. It's like getting seriously good. I may fork that, make a new branch and add some of the patches that are waiting to be integrated, because it's looking pretty good now. Anyway, as an aside, what was I going to talk about? Damn it. What was I talking about before I switched? I've forgotten what I was saying. I was here. I said something. Ah, it's gone. If anyone can remind me what my train of thought might have been. No, it's gone. Completely emptied my head. It disappeared. Oh well. Oh, that was it. Yes, it was Wi-Fi. So, because of where I am here, there is no Ethernet. But rather conveniently, the wireless access point for this part of the office space is on the other side of this wall right next to my office. So it's literally, I don't know, a meter, 2 meters away at most. So I got myself an extension lead for the Wi-Fi antenna, and I've got the Wi-Fi antenna right on the shelf, right in the corner, like right next to the access point. But you know, there's a bit of drywall, you know, between them. So consequently, if I do this, if I come back down here, I can demonstrate these things. If I bring this down, whoop. If I run up Wavemon, you can see the link quality is extremely high and the signal level is excellent. I think theoretically the absolute best you can get for this is 30. And I did have it better. What did I have to change? Oh, I had to put an extension lead in, and that just diminished the quality a little bit. But as you can see, it's a very high quality Wi-Fi connection. Now at home, my Wi-Fi is faster than the Powerline Ethernet that I use. But it's not, the Wi-Fi's, yes, the Wi-Fi is not as fast. But the upload bandwidth over Wi-Fi and HomePlug is the same. So I tend to use HomePlug when I'm streaming at home. But a couple of times I've forgotten to turn off the Wi-Fi, and I've streamed over, I've forgotten to turn off the Wi-Fi, so therefore streamed over Wi-Fi. And here, I can only stream over Wi-Fi. And I'm starting to come to the conclusion that it has become internet law now that you do not stream over Wi-Fi, which may well have been true, you know, a couple of 3 years ago with different Wi-Fi standards, but I'm beginning to think that maybe with Wi-Fi 6, 5 gigahertz, that maybe that isn't so true anymore. Because the other thing is, whoop, I've just put, I don't know how I did that, but I put something on the screen in front of me. If I just come back down here again, and oh, there we go, those updates are done. If I just go in here, this isn't in the VM, this is on my host. If I go to, I wonder how well this will work with me streaming. This is probably a bad idea, but let's do it anyway. So this is the, so we're all supposed to get 100 meg symmetrical. So because I'm streaming, it's slightly less, and also these latency times are a bit different from how it normally looks. But as you can see, I've got 92 megabits down, 100 up. The unloaded latency is 6 milliseconds and loaded is 61. Now, if I wasn't streaming, I know that their unloaded latency is about 4 milliseconds and the loaded latency is about 50. Also, the downstream is about 120 megabits when I'm not streaming, and the upstream is about 120 megabits when I'm not streaming. So this seems like more than good enough to stream with, and my numbers at home are worse than this. And I did the Saturday stream that I did entirely over Wi-Fi because I got to turn it off, and I've watched it back and I've checked it, and there's no issues as a result of Wi-Fi issues. And a friend of mine who, if you've been here while we've done the game playing stuff, the Racing League, Yannick streams over 4G from the mountains of Switzerland, and you would never know that that's how he's pushing his data around. So I'm prepared to debunk this whole don't stream over Wi-Fi stuff. I think it's fine. So Takov says things have certainly changed. Even game streaming is doable with 5 gigahertz. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you on this point. I think it absolutely is. And for me, I have faster connections in my office at home, which is upstairs and far away from where the fibre enters the house, and therefore where the access point is. I've used another one of these, you know, big Wi-Fi antennas in the room to improve the reception. It's way, way faster than home plug. I mean, home plug is pretty bobbins by comparison. It's like half the speed. I think over Wi-Fi I get about 260 megabits down. And on the home plug I get about 100. So it's a big difference. Right then, where were we? We were doing updates. Those updates are done, so I think we'll restart. Okay. And now we'll add the PPA. And I actually need to shut the machine down to properly mount that, don't I? So let's... it's my repository, and it's play part. And password is test. There we go. I'm very happy with my ASCII art warnings in my PPAs. Hope you appreciate the effort I go to make it very clear who and who should not be using these things. Hey, is that Jim? JMM? So Jim says, often find 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi to be faster than Ethernet power lines. Definitely faster than power line, absolutely, without a doubt. And if you've only got 100 megabit Ethernet, then yes, faster than 100 megabit Ethernet. Yeah, so the latency is generally worse, although as I was just showing here, the latency is like single digit. It's marvelous. At home it's quite a lot more, and so that results in a bit of sort of jitter, not in the video or the audio network jitter, but I can't find any problem with it in terms of broadcasting with Twitch. I haven't tried high bitrate on YouTube. Maybe that would be a problem, but certainly 6 megabits to Twitch seems fine. Maybe that's something to explore in more detail one day. So let's make this font a bit bigger. Maybe not that big. There we go, that big. So if we just do an upgrade, we should see a whole bunch of stuff. So these are all of the new Mate 126 packages that are going to get installed. And there's a couple that are no longer required, and that's because Mate 126 uses GTK Source View 4. As you can see, it's being pulled in here. And that's a change from Ubuntu, nothing to do with Mate. So let's just let all of that upgrade. So what this is useful for is, I did this the other day on Impish, but this also, building the packages is one thing, but then making sure that they actually upgrade the system without throwing errors and what have you is kind of like, you know, the next step, because anyone upgrading from 2104 to 2110, if you've made mistakes in your packaging and the packages don't upgrade cleanly, then you've just broken their upgrade experience. So that's something. It's Jim. Good. I've seen you here before. I think I've seen you in here before. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm right, welcome back. I tweaked my OBS ever so slightly based on yesterday's stream just to simplify things a little bit. So that's all upgraded. So I think we'll give this, no, in fact, let's do sudo, let's remove anything that isn't required. There it is. And let's restart. Oops, I'm on the wrong screen. In fact, I'll just shut down because that will unmount the install ISO. And then I can restart it. QuickEmu is intelligent enough that it knows you've got an installed system, so it won't mount the ISO image automatically. It'll detect if the disk image is empty, and if it is, it mounts the install ISO, and if you've got a disk with data in it, it assumes that it must be ready to use. Well, that's a good start in that I without thinking about it, I'm logged in. So let's make sure, how do we actually make sure we're running ubuntu-mate, the new, Mate Desktop, the new version. So let's just make the font a bit bigger. I think it's, there we go. So 126.0, that's the proof that it's working, and slightly annoying that that doesn't quite fit, but let's just do about this computer. And here we can see Mate 126, and we can see we're on Hirsute. So this is good, because what this means, rather selfishly, or actually for anyone who's running ubuntu-mate 2104, I can upgrade my machine here to the latest version of Mate Desktop, which means without having to jump this machine to the in-development version of Ubuntu, I can at least test this new version of Mate Desktop as a daily system. And if I encounter any bugs, you know, I should see them first. Now, I also saw that there's a new, there's a fix to Redshift. So the meta packages, oh no, I don't want to do it. This is a Hirsute, not the new one. So that's all I need to do here. So let's have a look at some of the new stuff. It's mostly a lot of bug fixes and sort of laying the groundwork for full Wayland support. It's not all there yet, but let's think. One of the new changes which I really like is this one here, where you'll see the scaling of auto detect 100% to 100%. So per display, you can set the integer scaling now. That's really handy on my laptop, which has a 4K panel in the laptop screen, but almost every monitor I plug into it over HDMI on the side is regular DPI. So now I can keep 4K on the laptop screen and regular DPI on the devices that I plug into it. So I'm a big fan of this feature. What else is new? The file preferences have changed a little bit. So the way that you set your defaults up here has now been refactored into this tabbed area, so you can configure that. That's a subtle change, but one I quite like. It's the window, isn't it? So window. So these preferences have been fleshed out. So the placement now supports multiple types of this. So I think ubuntu-mate and Linux Mint Mate both disable the menu in the title bars. You can get it by right clicking, but by default you usually get another icon here, and I think that looks a bit messy in this day and age. So I turn them off, as does Mint, and so those are here now. You've got the tiling and snapping, you can center by default, and you can also disable and enable the compositing manager in the Mate settings itself now, which is great. Let me try and remember. Well, the Mate calculator is significantly improved. It looks just the same. You would never know. There's some new stuff in Pluma, although I won't have everything that's new in Pluma for this release, because there's a whole bunch of additional plugins. But one of the things that's new is the overview map. So you can do, you know, this sort of stuff, and when you've got syntax highlighted code, you can use that as a, you know, navigation view. And I'm really pleased that I did the work last cycle speculatively adding the themes for Yaru for GTK Source View 3 and 4, because now without having to do any work they are functioning. What else has changed or significantly different? I forget all the details. But a lot of it is actually to do, it's just a lot of bug fixes and compatibility improvements and memory efficiencies, memory leaks being cleaned up. So in terms of the upstream project, it's far more maintainable now. It's in really good shape actually. It compiles very cleanly, very few warnings these days. Oh, and I think there was something to do with, yeah, if I open up this, I think now, yeah, I think before it didn't used to show what apps were open as you tabbed through the workspaces, and now it actually shows what's on the workspace as you move. I think that's new. Anyway, so that works. Happy days. I can't test Impish because, well, I can test Impish, but I don't need to because the PPA is the same as it was and none of the packages have migrated from... Oh, actually, no, yeah, we can test this. What am I saying? Let's just enable the proposed repository and cowboy it. So let's shut this one down. Doing Impish will be much, much quicker because it's a daily ISO. So let's fire up dev, let's delete the disk image to start with and then fire it up. And this won't take anywhere near as long to install or update. So here it comes. Ha! Hello there, Henrik. How are you? I've nearly finished my second cup of tea already. I will need 3 cups of tea. I realise this doesn't scale each time I do one of these morning streams to increment the number of mugs of tea that I have in advance. But, oh, I missed the... There we go. So let's do that and whiz through. So, what's everyone else up to today? After this, I'm fully in work mode. I'm going to be learning some new bits and pieces for work. Just had the boiler man leave after servicing the boiler, so getting your first coffee of the day. Important. Eating, of course, time zone differences. So you're eating lunch. Very good. I've got my lunch, got my sandwiches just there. I feel like they're not going to make it till lunchtime though. So this one is Impish Mate. Let's get you going. So, yeah. So Jim says they're hopefully modding their old Game Boy Advance, is that? As long as the Royal Maid delivers the last 3 things. GBA is Game Boy Advance, right? And what is it that you're having delivered in order to mod this thing? And what mods are they? I have a package arriving at home. I have a new mouse arriving at home today, which is for the PC at home. This one I'm very happy with the mouse and keyboard. I tried a new mouse out at home, didn't like it. Hello Big Pod, yes you did. You're in the right place for Linux and tea, although I'm fast running out of tea. I really need to, I think now I've got this place and you probably can't tell from here, but I have quite a lot of desk space here, and I've kept it relatively clear. So if I move this mouse mat to one side and move my, drinks and coasters to one side, and I'm also considering getting a camera that's got a wider field of view, because there's more desk to the sides of what you can see here. I think I might start bringing in, I have storage space here, bring in my massive box of Raspberry Pi stuff and actually do some assembly and putting together of some of my Raspberry Pi bits and pieces here, because I've got loads of space to do that, and I think I've got all of the equipment to do it as well. So yeah, is this nearly done? Nearly done. So Jim says he's going to mod his Game Boy Advance and you're going to add an IPS backlit screen. Holy smoke, that sounds wonderful. A new shell and buttons. So these are like reproduction shells to make it all new and shiny again, I assume. And you want to repair the power switch. Okay, I've just had a message from my wife and she says she can't find her keys, and I'm just now furiously checking my pockets to make sure I haven't left the house with my wife's keys, which I don't think I have. Okay. Any ideas? I'll have to think about that. I don't think I've seen her keys. Okay, so you're going to fix the power switch, and I'm waiting for a soldering iron, a finer soldering iron tip. Okay. Wow, that sounds like a fun little project. And hello, Mateus. Mateus says they've just brewed themselves a mocha, hiding from production server, sending me error alerts. Yes, hiding from the servers always works in my experience. They can't chase you. They're not like Daleks. Right then, so this should be Hirsute. No, this is Impish. And what we'll do is enable the proposed repository and do an upgrade, which should, I always send the telemetry, so should you. Jim says there's a UK company called Retro6 selling these modding parts for a lot of retro consoles. That's really cool. I'll have to look that up. So, it's the Nerd Tea Gathering. Hello, Esme. Welcome back. Yes, it is the Nerd Tea Gathering. That's totally the point. So let's just switch over to dark again, and let's. What are we doing now? We want to update. So software updater. No, that's the wrong thing. Oh, hang on a minute. That was interesting. Let's just do that. Let's see if any of the packages have made it into the Impish archive. So let's do an upgrade. Mate Mixer, the Mate User Guide, Mozo the Menu Editor, and Python Kaja have all made it out of the proposed pocket. Well, that's fine, but it's curious that only those packages have gone, because they are, well, okay. So some of the packages are migrating. That's good. I'm happy about that. Big Pod is going to say, it says, I might brew yourself some tea. Generally only drink herbal teas. Okay, I'm interested in this, what different teas and beverages people are drinking. For years I thought the tea I liked most was Yorkshire Gold, but I think it might be Twining's English breakfast tea. So that's going to be my next purchase. Although I did see a friend of mine sent me a link on Amazon. There is Stormtrooper tea, which fits with this whole, setup here. Right, I'm just going to send a quick message to my wife to say, so I'm just saying I don't have them here. Right then. Well, yeah, I'll get in serious trouble if I don't help find these keys even remotely. So, take my money, Stormtrooper tea. It's a thing. Look on Amazon. It's absolutely a thing. So let's go and get the proposed repository enabled. Oh, wrong password. My password is test, by the way. Did I manage to tick that twice? Hello? This needs a fix, doesn't it? It's doing something and there's no visible feedback that it's actually doing a thing. I assume it's definite. Yeah. The information is out of date. Okay, reload. Oh, and it went away. Okay, let's just check that that's actually done the right thing. Let's turn that on again. I think I may have turned it on and off again inadvertently. Probably going to buy some mint or mountain tea. Mix a bunch of mountain growing herbs. Interesting. I've tried mint tea. Also not my thing. I come across as very fussy when I keep explaining all of these beverages I've tried and don't like. It's not that I don't like them. I choose not to drink them. Reload. Okay. Hopefully that should work now. Or at least after it's done this bit. So you saw the prompt as I did the install asking to send the telemetry information. Do you send the telemetry on, or do you dodge doing that sort of thing? I think everyone should click send telemetry. No privacy issues whatsoever, and I'm not being sarcastic. I know there aren't, and it was well explained at the time, but I think everyone should be sending the stuff along. Morning, Paul. Good to see you here again. Hello, KP. Welcome back. Welcome back, both of you. How are you? Right, so with that proposed pocket enabled, we'll update the... we'll do an upgrade. And, okay, there's more in the proposed pocket than just my ubuntu-mate packages, clearly. But we can see... Oh, this is good news. This is good. That's as a result of a change I've made to Arctica Greta. This we know about. We were expecting this. There's some that are going to be kept back, so we can push those over afterwards. And I can see lots of packages in here that are mine, but there's a ton of other stuff which is not. So let's just grab all of that. Yes, go. Do those things. This will be interesting. So one of the changes that I've made in ubuntu-mate 21.10 is I'm trying to not, I don't know if it's going to have worked yet, but we'll find out. Trying to not ship the default, or rather the upstream Mate desktop themes, because they take up a lot of space. Keeping the icon themes because they're required for fallback. So it will just be the ubuntu-mate themes. And then also Arctica Greta, I noticed, is inadvertently installing the Numix theme, even when you just install the Greta. But those themes are installed by its themes. So I've changed that package, hopefully to just bring the size of the image down. I mean, it feels like a thankless task these days. People keep complaining about the images getting bigger, but the software just gets more, or it just gets larger over time because new features get added, more libraries get pulled in, and it gets bigger and bigger. So the only way to really reduce the size of the ISO in any meaningful way now is to, well, remove the Linux firmware, and then nothing would work. That's by far the largest package on the system. But actually, like, removing significant applications is the only way forward now. Restart services during package upgrade, yes, that's fine. It's only a virtual machine, it can do what it likes. So Paul says he's been on the phone all morning dealing with telephony issues. How many floppies will I need to install it now? Well, somebody can work it out. Here we go. I think the image is 2.8 gigabytes at the moment, or it was the last time I checked it. I don't know actually how big it is or how big it will become. I'm hoping these changes might shave 100 megabytes off the image size, so it's by no means a significant change. God, can you remember that? Floppy disks. I remember I got a laptop with Windows 95 install media, and I did something daft and ruined the system, and I had to install, it was one of these Toshiba Libretto CT100s, which was like a netbook, but before netbooks were a thing. This was from like 1997, and it had a proprietary floppy drive port. There was no USB back then, and there was no CD drive. So they sent you a massive stack of Windows 95 floppy disks and all of the drivers, and I think there was nearly 50 floppy disks for the whole thing, and I had to reinstall it, and it was, you can imagine, it's like installing over a slow modem. It was horrible. Matthias says when they were a teenager they won 140 floppies in a hand of pack. I think you lost that game. If what are you going to do with 140 floppy disks? That feels like well, why did you want 140 floppy disks? So we'll do a dist upgrade now to pull in the rest of the stuff. So let's just take a look here. These are no longer required, it says. I'm looking very closely at these. Why are these not required anymore? That doesn't seem right. Something's not right here. So FFmpeg, that's fine. Got no problem with that. The following new package, okay, that's fine. Oh, the Mate desktop environment core has been kept back. Okay, why? Why has that been kept back? No. Oh. Because those packages have not built yet. Why not? Okay, so there's something I'm going to need to dig into. So let's have a look then. So Jim says they generally decline telemetry. I make an exception for projects like Ubuntu have done a lot of... yeah, that's fine. I was referring specifically to the telemetry requests from Ubuntu. I turn off telemetry in just about everything else. There are very few things I would leave that on for. But for Ubuntu, obviously, not just because of my association with Canonical in the past, but I think it's actually, well, I know it's valuable to the developers. I've made decisions about ubuntu-mate based on the hardware telemetry that I can see. We need belt bed floppy drives. Yeah, well, actually, I used to work with, I'm not this old, I just used to work for a company that was in the mainframe business as like my first job. So I did used to work with punch tape and paper and cards. So yeah, something like, you know, a card feeder but for floppy disks, absolutely. Matteo says he had some backups to do. 140 floppy disks should have covered it, hopefully. And Paul says, I made a SQL snafu last week. Updated a field in the whole table rather than in one row. We had to restore it from backup. Oh, that sounds miserable. That sounds like the kind of database restore that's fiddly. And the dude with a baby or two says, I used to fit all my documents on a single floppy drive back in the day. Yeah, we probably all did. I mean, I think most of my documents were nothing more than text files way back when. Okay, I should probably go and investigate why those two packages are not built. So let's do that very quickly. Let's go to launchpad.net / Ubuntu. Oh, actually, let's look in Ubuntu excuses to start with. Okay. Blocked. Missing a build for RISC-64. Why is it asking for 64? RISC-64. I'm sure I have that stuff turned off. Why? I'm just looking at some of these other packages to see. Okay. Well, let's look at Control Center. That's missing a build. Okay. Well, that'll be why then. Okay, I will have to speak to some friends and find out why that is jammed up. Has fully unsatisfiable dependency. Well, that makes sense. Okay. So Ubuntu Excuses explains why packages that have been uploaded to the archive are sat in proposed and aren't migrating out of proposed. I'm a bit concerned that the principal reason why this seems to be the case is because it says a missing build on RISC, which I don't give a fig about, and I don't know why it's held up. So, well, we can overcome this ever so slightly. We can cheat a little bit, I think. Let's see if we can cheat a little bit. We'll soon find out. So here, let's quickly apt-add repository. Play park. There we go. That's going to pull in the missing bits. let's do this the old-fashioned way. Make sure that everything that is in the meta package is installed. Oh, ubuntu-mate. Let's try that. It's not desktop. It's just ubuntu-mate core. Network manager breaks. PPP. Okay, that's not my doing, but that's probably worth. That's why the network manager stuff got removed. Okay, all of the bits that I put on there are on there now. Let's do a dist upgrade. What does it want to remove? I'm not going to let it do that because then the networking will be busted, won't it? That looks like a significant breakage, so I'm not going to automatically. Yeah, I try to be Esme spotted my my PPA warnings. I haven't got enough scroll back to get there now, but yes, I feel like, you know, I need to signpost these highly experimental PPAs. Even has ASCII art skull and crossbones in it as well. Belt and braces. Right, okay, that is good enough. So I think what we'll do is restart this. And that should continue to work. At least all of my stuff should continue to work, because it should be all be on there now. I can't remember the last time I used a floppy disk. It was probably for something like making a DOS boot floppy to update a BIOS or something in a ThinkPad, probably. I am not sorry to. I mean, it's interesting. I've built a bunch of computers over the last few years, and you know, floppy and optical storage doesn't feature in, you know, my thinking at all. It's, yeah. Has anyone got DVD drives, and do you use them? Do you like watch films on them and stuff, or do you back up stuff onto optical media? I mean, the last few systems, I know my main machine at home does actually have spinning drives because I needed a big, like backup, a place to back up. So I've got a big, well, I say big, it's a two drive striped array, which is just like backup stuff. XKCD327. Okay, I will look. Yeah. Let's pull that down here. Is what Paul's exploits of them on. I like that. That's very good. Bobby tables. Why is my VM taking so long to shut down? I'm not sure I can be bothered to wait. Let's do that. What could go wrong? It's only a virtual machine after all. Let's pull that back in here. So what have we got here? You took out the DVD drive and put a SATA caddy in instead. Yeah, sensible. I've got on my machine at home, the case is quite old and it has, like, you know, 5¼ inch drive bays, but I've got card readers and USB chargers in one, and then just loads of USB and USB-C, you know, in the other, which are connected to the motherboard headers. Oh well, I've busted this VM. What fun. Let's see what's going on. Failed to start like DM. Oh, well, that's pretty critical. Oh. Have I tested this? I have tested this. Okay. I would like to... I wonder if something else was removed because, due to those networking changes. Do I have a snapshot? No, I didn't snapshot this VM. I wasn't. No, this isn't a precious machine. I should just throw it away. But I do have something to investigate later now. So I will have to do that. Well, I was going to do something else, but I think I'll save that one for tomorrow. So let's just whiz back over here. So thank you everyone for stopping by again. Do keep bringing your cups of tea and stuff in the morning. I do enjoy having a chat with you. Okay. Esme says doesn't own any CDs anymore. So we've still got our CDs. They're in a massive box. We put all of our CDs. I ripped out all of the CDs and then we put them in a massive box and they're in the loft. But now we don't even play those ripped CDs. We used to play them via, you know, Plex and stuff. We just use Spotify now. And Jeff says still has an external CD drive to rip your CD collection. So you're still dumping CDs and then playing your own local music rather than using a streaming service, it sounds like, Jeff. Exactly, Paul. You know, destroying VMs is cheap, isn't it? It's no problem. Big Pod says my old desktop, which now serves as my server, has a DV drive but isn't connected. So you've just left it in there, so there's not a gaping hole in the front of the machine, basically. Spotify is too convenient. I mean, I really like Spotify. I am using Spotify for the music bed in these streams. I use Streambeats, which is copyright-free music for streamers by streamers. It's terrific. If you're not familiar, I think it's streambeats.com. They even provide a license. So, you know, if anyone's gives you a copyright strike anywhere, you can actually go to them with documentation. And they did have some music in their library. They've created all of the music themselves. They did have some music in their library that was flagged on YouTube, and it was because some of the instrument samples that they were using have appeared in commercial songs and they were being incorrectly struck. And what Streambeats did is dealt with that, got rid of the strikes on YouTube and all the rest of it, but then removed those songs from their library to prevent the problem happening again. Yeah, Harris Heller, that's right. That's Harris Heller is behind Streambeats. That's kind of the thing he's most famous for now. Yeah, they are. I stumbled across Harris at some point. I think it may have been something like a camera review or something like that. And I follow him ever since. Hello, Navy Cat. How you doing? Welcome. Yeah, the sync license. That's right. Yeah. And baby with the dude with Baby or Two says, I tend to use Spotify, but all my music is already ripped. Yeah, so all of ours is as well. It's still on our server at home. We never use it. I do have it synced to an iPod in the car. So if, I mean, we even use Spotify in the car, but if we go through a dead spot, I have an iPod wired into the car. It's an old car now. It's about 9 years old. We can then play, you know, our music library off the iPod. And I think we've done that like once in the last 5 years, mostly just using Spotify. So Navy Cat says, thanks for ubuntu-mate, waiting. Well, that's what we've just been doing, actually. We've just been testing the Mate 126 packages, which I've uploaded to the Impish release and put in a PPA for testing with Hirsute. So yeah, that work is done. Last night's stream, which was a bit of an epic. It was nearly 4 hours, the stream itself. I think the work on Mate was maybe 2.5, and then we got into a bit of a nerdy chat at the end. So we were talking about graphics cards and some people that have been at the System 76 event, some people that work at System 76 talking about it. So yeah, it was just a nice little chat at the end of the day in the end. So Takov says a friend ruled in his stream that his friend's voice is properties. I've encountered that. Not me, but I know people who are voice actors who in their own streams get struck because their voices appear in copywritten work. NFC cards would be cool. For what? I'm not sure I follow the train of thought there. Yeah, I mean, listening to music on Spotify, on YouTube is still very popular. I've never bothered with it. I don't find it an easy way to sort of get to the music that I want, whereas Spotify's not the best user interface by any means. I mean, they've got the music. The UI is pretty awful when you think about it. It's improved a little bit just recently. Anyway, thanks very much for stopping by, everyone. If you're not following already, please do follow. I'll be doing these streams most mornings now. So, you know, stop by, bring a cup of tea, cup of coffee, orange juice, whatever. Oh, thanks, Navy Cat, for the follow. Appreciate that. So you'll be notified when I'm going live. It was a bit late again this morning, but I'm hoping to start somewhere between like 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning for about an hour. But this one was a little later than I wanted. Yeah, get followed. And tomorrow I think I'm going to take an app of mine that I wrote for OBS. It's a simple Python app that does a redirect for live chat in YouTube. And I'm going to make that a Docker container, and I'm going to use all of the best practice and then use Docker Slim, which is an open source project we make at work, to make that tiny. So I'm going to go through that process because I thought it'd be good to actually start moving some of my own stuff over to high quality containers rather than my just throw it over the wall containers that I've made in the past. Right, well, thank you all for coming, and hopefully I will see you tomorrow with your suggestions for teas and beverages, what I might enjoy. So see you then. Thanks very much, and catch you in the next one.